One day, Toby was resting alone in the shed at Farquhar. The Fat Controller first met Toby and Henrietta a long time ago when he was on holiday in East Anglia. Later, when their line was closed, the Fat Controller heard about it and brought them to Sodor. Before that, Toby had worked at a harbour with several of his brothers. That morning, Percy had been talking about the harbour at Knapford. Toby remembered the old days when he had worked at a harbour too. The harbour had been busy, and the engines were kept bustling about, but Toby never really had a chance to exercise his pistons properly until he had his own line to run on. "I'm too old now to dash about like I did then," he thought. Backwards and forwards all day long, between the harbour and the big station, with never any chance of a holiday. One day, his driver and fireman had been so excited when they came to work. "We've been promised a trip to the seaside," they said. "What do you mean?" asked Toby.
"There's a seaside village near here,"
explained the driver, "where they have a festival each year. Lots of people come to it.
And every year they have a big parade with a special attraction for all the visitors."
And
this year, Toby,
one of the organisers thinks it would be a good idea to have a display of engines at the station as an extra attraction. And you, Toby, are to be one of them.
You're the special attraction. "Thank you, sir," said Toby. "But what does a special attraction do?" "Oh, just smiles and blows whistles at everyone," replied his driver.
Next day,
Toby the tram engine was very excited.
he woke early and Toby went to the shed at the big station.
Daisy thought Toby was silly. Oh, murmured Daisy.
"Whatever is that rubbish?" Daisy purred away, feeling very pleased with herself. Toby just smiled.
He was given new paint and
He was wearing a brand new bell that shone like gold.
his brasswork was polished until his driver could see himself in it. "You haven't looked so smart for years," he said. "I nearly didn't recognise you." They set out for the junction where the branch line to the village began. As they arrived, a train came in from the branch.
The engine was James.
He was dirty, his rods clanked, and steam leaked from everywhere. "The poor engine," said Toby. "Can I help pull his next train to the seaside, please?"
"What, me?" snorted James.
The station master agreed, so Toby was coupled in front.
"You know, little Toby,
Festival time is the best time of the year. Lots of extra trains and visitors. I expect you'll be able to stand on the long carriage siding."
Toby
had to work very hard."
Soon they approached the workstation.
"Beep, beep. Thank you, goodbye," whistled James.
"Goodbye," replied Toby.
Then he was off to the seaside once more. "We're almost there. Listen, you can hear the seagull," replied his driver.
Toby was excited and saw the sea sparkling in the distance. White birds wheeled and swooped overhead, making loud, mewing noises. "I wonder what they are," thought Toby. "I must ask my driver."
Soon they reached
The seaside station.
by the village. But instead of a big welcome, there was just one man.
The station master came out to meet them. He was surprised to see Toby. He stared, frowned.
He whispered to Toby's driver and turned sadly away.
He's shaking his head as his crew arrived looking glum.
Well, if that doesn't take the biscuit, said Toby's driver.
It's all off, Toby, his driver said. They say there's nowhere for you to stand. But what's wrong with where I am? Wailed Toby. I'm not in anybody's way here.
They've run out of room in the parade and don't need a special attraction after all.
It's just an excuse, I reckon, said Toby's driver, lowering his voice. The real trouble is you're too smart, Toby. They're afraid you'll show their branch line up.
We've got to go home, Toby. I'm sorry, old boy. So am I, sighed Toby.
Later, Percy was shunting in the yard at Farquhar.
He didn't expect to see Toby. What are you doing back so soon?
Well, I did get to the seaside, he murmured, even if it wasn't for long.
What do you mean? Asked Percy. Before Toby could reply, Sir Topham had arrived.
Leave those trucks, please, Percy, he said. There's an emergency down at the harbour.
I think...
wants you to go and sort it out straight away. But Toby can't, began Percy. Never mind that, the Fat Controller said. The harbour needs you double quick. Leave us to worry about the shunting. He hurried away to make the arrangements. Wake up, Toby, smiled his driver. Time to get back to work.
Come on, Percy, said his driver. This'll be trouble with Bulstrode. Who's Bulstrode? Wondered Percy. He was still surprised about Toby, and now he had two puzzles to sort out. His driver explained. Bulstrode is a disagreeable barge. He never stops complaining. His driver was right about Bulstrode.
Bulstrode was a barge used for carrying stone. He was a disagreeable barge. Nothing was ever right for him, and he grumbled unceasingly. Trucks grumbled too, but they went a patch on Bulstrode.
Today the barge was more bad-tempered than ever. Come on, come on!
Come on, shouted Bulstrode rudely one morning.
Why aren't you cars where you should be?
Why aren't you trucks where you should be? How can I be loaded if you dawdle about up there, eh? There's no engine, and we can only go where we're put, retorted the trucks crossly. You're in the wrong place, not us,
shouted the cars. You're in the wrong place, not us.
They argued for some time, but it made no difference. Bulstrode was in the wrong place, and he was not due to leave until the next day, but he wasn't going to let a little thing like that stop him complaining. When Percy arrived, Bulstrode was sulking, and the trucks were annoyed with him.
And the cars were crosser still.
Our stone is for Bulstrode, they said. Please put us into the siding
So that we can load him up and be rid of him.
as soon as possible. The line slopes down to the harbour. Percy pulled the trucks a little way up the hill, clear of the points.
But the cars were being careless.
As he stopped, one of the truck's brakes slipped on. When Percy began to push, the truck started with a jerk and a coupling broke. Four loose trucks, heavy with stone, gathered speed.
As Percy was lining them up, they burst through some buffers.
Help! Help! They wailed. A shunter bravely tried to stop them, but only broke his pole. The trucks rattled along the quay, straight towards Bulstrode, unsuspecting at the end.
Help! Help! They wailed. But it was too late.
Bulstrode heard a rattle and a shout or two, but he could see nothing. The first he knew of anything wrong was when four loaded stone trucks shot, one by one, off the end of the quay to bury themselves in his hole. Oof! He exclaimed. But anything else was lost in a gurgle as the trucks burst a hole in his hull and water began to pour in. Bulstrode experienced an awful sinking feeling.
Oh, cried Bulstrode. I'm sinking.
Serves you right,
Giggled the cars.
you were always barging in and moaning.
Save me, he spluttered. I'm drowning. But Bulstrode didn't drown. As chance would have it, the tide was out, so he did not go right under the water. The trucks were upset at losing some of their friends, but were very little bothered about Bulstrode. Nothing but a nuisance he was, they said to each other, always barging in and moaning about not being loaded fast enough. They sniggered. This time he got his load faster than he bargained for. Serves him right, if you ask us. Percy was kept busy for some time afterwards clearing up the mess. When the remains of the trucks had been lifted out of the water, he took them to the scrapyard while workmen rescued what stone they could.
It took a very long time to clear the mess.
As for Bulstrode, when everything else had been cleared, his remains were towed to a nearby beach where they could do no harm.
Percy watched as Bulstrode was towed to the beach. There you are, said the workman. Now you can just stay here. Children can play in you all day, and at long last you'll be useful.
Now children play happily among the wreckage. If Bulstrode is still grumbling, as I expect he is, the children take no notice.
When Percy got home, he and Toby exchanged all their news.
Well, we've both had some seaside surprises today, laughed Toby.
But Driver says that I'm a special attraction anyway, and so are you. Every time we go on our own line. What do you mean? Asked Percy. Well, all we have to do is smile and blow whistles at everyone.
But I think the Fat Controller would have managed all that festival business much better.